All right, back on LinkedIn with Greg Shaffer, former FBI HRT guy, Coasty, and the author. Because you asked me, I'm going to plug your book because it sounds really exciting. I can't wait till I get my copy and I get a chance to read it. Stay Safe: Secrets for Today's Dangerous World, which is extremely relevant to what's going on in the world. And one of the things that we always talk about here on the show is transition. And this is, your book is reading into a lot of transition type concerns that I have with how dangerous the world has been over the last 20 years.
Mhm.
And now we have a bunch of protectors, a bunch of sheepdogs coming out of military and law enforcement, and they're going someplace. They're coming to the private sector like both you and I did. And our journeys were distinctly different. But let's talk about that a little bit. What helped you in your transition? What hurt you in transition?
Well, I think one of the first things you need to do is find somebody in the field that you want to go into. Find that mentor. My mentor was a man by the name of Danny Colson, who was the first team commander of the HRT, the FBI Hostage Rescue Team. And he lives out here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He retired 20 years ago. And I reached out to him when I wanted to start my own security company, Shaffer Security Group, and asked him what he did. What were some of the pitfalls that he hit, some of the landmines that he hit, and what did he do that was good and what did he do that was bad. And he was very forthcoming and honest with me on what I needed to do to set up my own company. And for someone that has had their own company now for 5 years, I get a lot of those phone calls now today. All my friends in the Bureau or even back in the Coast Guard days who are retiring and wanting to get in this field will give me a call, and I am more than happy to help them out because you pay it forward. And most people who are successful want other people to succeed as well. There is plenty of work out there. So I guess the first thing that I would do is look for that mentor, look for that person you can call, get good, solid advice. No sense in reinventing the wheel. There are many of those that went before me, and I am honored and proud to call them friends. And thank God for them because they've helped me, definitely establish, my business, and it is where it is today because of those that went before me.
And so having that network of, for you, happen to be former FBI, maybe former veteran military folks, but the having that network, did that come because you were on LinkedIn, or did that come because you knew of them through kind of a friend of a friend, or did you actually know them personally and knew their story?
Well, it's a little bit of both. If you're going to hang that own shingle of yours to open that own business, go through your contact list. You would be surprised at who you have in there that can help you or know people that can help you. If you've been 20 years in the FBI or 20 years in the military, you have quite a contact list, and it's generally, if it's not nationwide, it's worldwide. Because in the military and in law enforcement, you tend to relocate quite a bit. So you have those contacts across the nation. Reach out to those people. Get a good email together and send it to everybody that you know, telling them what you're going to do and ask them for help. Again, they will want to help you. But a hard thing, particularly for me, and I think it's definitely true to most of those who do leave law enforcement, is learning how to market yourself. I mean, the biggest paradigm shift for me when I got out of the FBI was going from trying to keep myself off the radar, out of the media, to also now I have to market myself and what I did in the FBI, because that's what sets me apart from all the other security companies out there. So I went from, FBI HRT operator who never wanted his name or his picture known to anyone, to now I'm putting it out there on social media. And that was a hard, bitter pill to swallow. And it was difficult. You want to be known as that quiet professional, but then you go into the entrepreneurial world, and it's all about marketing. You have to set yourself apart. So for me and for those in law enforcement, that's always a big hurdle to overcome.
What's the success mindset that you had coming out of, being 20 plus years, 25 years in the government, and now you've got to kind of relearn how to do everything. In the Gov, we have databases we can check. We have people that we can rely on, that we know how well they're trained and we know what their competencies are. And now you're in the private sector. What was the mindset that you had coming into, now I'm going to own my own business? This is a total different change for me.
The mindset is you can't fail. If you're going to start your own business, it's because it's a passion of yours, and use that passion to your favor. I don't go to work anymore. Everything I do with my business today is just so much fun. I spend a lot of time on the gun range, and there's never a bad day on the gun range, right? So I train with some of the greatest guys I've ever met. They're my brothers, just like the FBI operators on the HRT and my other squad mates and doing investigations. These guys that work for me now, they represent all 5 of the armed services. We have Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard in my business, and we have a virtual cornucopia of federal law enforcement, retired federal law enforcement officers work for me as well. And there's just a great group of guys, and they're fun to be around. They keep me humbled, they keep me honest, and it's just a joy to go to work. So find that passion and use that energy, and just tell yourself, no matter what happens, you're not going to fail.
How much research did you do going into it? Or was just like, no matter what I'm going to do, whether it's investigations or security or consulting, I'm going into it 100% at 100 miles an hour? Or did you actually do some research and check and say, okay, these are the things that I can do, and this is what I'm going to do based on that research?
You definitely have to do your own due diligence, especially in the security world. There are so many licenses you have to have, insurance, a lot of pitfalls. I got hooked up with a guy who's now my director of training by the name of Brian Harpole, one of the greatest guys I've ever met. And he is just a whiz at all this administrative stuff. So you got to find that guy who's really good with administration. And again, let him help you. I like to say I did it by myself, but there's no way I could do this and build up the company that I have now by myself. I get a lot of people who went before me who set the road, set the stage, and guys like Brian Harpole, who have been in the private security world for a long time and know how to talk to, in my instance, is the Department of Public Safety here in Texas. Again, a lot of licenses, a lot of applications to fill out, and a lot of ways to get sideways with the state. So, just be leery of that and make sure you find yourself somebody who's really capable in that administrative field.
This is great advice. So, Greg, we'll put a pin in it there. Stay tuned for the next segment. I encourage everybody to like these, to comment on them. I know Greg's active on social media, as am I. Ask us questions in the comments section and share this with your partners. You can't go it alone. We want you to be successful. Greg's vested in that. I'm vested in that. And so stay tuned. We're going to have more great conversations coming up.